Welcome to Freedom Cast, where your hosts, Jordan and Miranda, show you how to get just a little bit more out of life. Are you ready to leave normal behind?
Welcome to Freedom Cast, everybody. We are very excited today to introduce our two guests, Chris and Megan Johnson. They just recently moved to Charlotte, and we are very excited to have them on our show tonight. They're going to talk a little bit about their move, about what Chris does for a living, and just, I think it's a really fun episode.
And they are good friends of ours. Chris was actually my freshman roommate in college, so we'll be sharing their story a little bit more with you guys. They have a very interesting story, like Miranda said. They just recently moved down to Charlotte. They kind of did what we decided to do and just pick up and move. They didn't even have jobs at the time, but we'll let them get into that a little bit more and tell you about that. But we brought them on the show just because they've done something a little bit different, and we just wanted to hear from them and hear their story.
And it's pretty cool because most people have really weird college freshman roommates. I can say I had a very weird one. So it's pretty cool that Jordan and Chris have stayed friends for as many years as they have.
You had a weird roommate, Miranda. You weren't the weird one? Because we're pretty weird on this show, as we know.
My roommate would curl up in a ball and take naps under her desk. I thought she died multiple times, but she was just napping.
That is very strange. Maybe we'll have to have her on this show at some time, at some point.
Yeah, she was different. We'll see if we can find her.
I'm sure she meant well.
Yes, yeah. She took naps because she stayed up all night playing Bejeweled on her computer, so.
You know, I never played Bejeweled, but we're getting off point there a little bit. Yeah, we're very excited to share this episode with you guys, and Chris and Megan have a lot of good things to share, just about, they have some relationship advice, and, they're going to tell their story, but just also talk about their move and, the good stuff that happened for them when they decided to make that big life change. So without further ado, we will bring on Chris and Megan Johnson onto Freedom Cast. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
What's up, Jordan and Miranda?
Who do I have with me today?
Chris and his
Chris
lovely
and
wife, Megan. We're both here.
She's just sitting there giggling already. It's just like Miranda, so
Yeah.
nothing new there. We just wanted to bring you guys on today just to talk a little bit about you and your story and kind of what brought you down to Charlotte. And we're going to have a couple different questions for you, but we did just want to bring you on the show just so our listeners can get to know you a little better and can get to know what you guys do. But we just want to hear a little bit about your story. So we do have a couple questions. We're going to jump right in here and start asking. So how did you guys meet?
So we met 3 years ago. It was my best friend growing up. It was his birthday party. Neither one of us were supposed to attend that evening. We had prior plans that fell through at the last minute. So we both happened to be there that night. And I had another girlfriend at the time, so I wasn't...
Nice.
Yeah, I wasn't, looking or anything, but she did catch my eye, and her side of the story is more interesting than my side that first night that we met.
Yeah, so obviously Chris told you me and us were supposed to go, but they were running. Is that better?
That's good.
Okay.
That'll pick you up just fine.
Okay, thank you. So they were running a little behind. So me and my friends were there for probably like an hour before they came. And they come in the door and I'm like, I see him. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to marry this guy. And literally, like, when me and my friends went to the bathroom, I was like, guys, I'm going to marry him. Like, I'm going to have his babies. I'm going to marry him. We're going to live together.
So the first part is true so far. We're married,
Yeah.
but the babies, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
How did you know right off the bat? Like, how did you know that?
I honestly don't know. It was just like, I never believed or ever thought that like love at first sight was real. But when I saw him, I was just like, I had no clue like his last name, but I pictured my life with him and I was like, this will work.
And did you tell him that when you met him?
Yeah, I told him that on our first date.
She did, and strangely enough, it didn't scare me away. It didn't even put up a red flag like this girl's crazy. I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. Why don't we just eat our sushi for now and then we can figure that out later.
Talk about marriage later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like I would have run away right away. I would have been like, "You're crazy. Let me
Right.
just get out of here real quick."
The thing is, like, I'm never that confident or bold enough to, like, say how I feel. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to let him know and see what he does with it.
And normally, I think for coming from any other girl, I would have been like taken off guard by that and been like, "That's really weird." But for some reason, it was just okay with me.
That's cool. So it kind of like it felt right
Yeah,
off the bat.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Me and Miranda were lucky enough to go to your guys' wedding. You had that down in Cancun. If you want to just talk about that a little bit, that'd be kind of cool because that was it was a different kind of wedding. And I think Chris even told me you guys end up saving money by doing it down in Cancun, and that's kind of a cool thing. So tell us a little bit more about that and how that all went down.
Yeah, so before we even planned Cancun, we were looking around in Maryland, like at different venues around the water because Chris loves water. And I was like, well, we can do it at the water. But it was going to be about like 30-40 grand just for 6 hours.
Wow.
So we stopped at a Denny's, I think, to eat. And I was like, I can't do this. And we both agreed. And I was like, well, what about a destination wedding? Like, it has to be cheaper. And the more we looked into it, it was, I want to say we paid only 15 grand.
Yep, so
For
still
that
about
wedding?
half the price
Yeah.
for a destination wedding.
And that was a full week.
Right. It wasn't just 5 hours, it was the full week of the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can say from personal experience, it was awesome. It
Yeah.
really was.
It was definitely the best time, and having all of your closest friends and family at a resort with you, just spending a lot of quality time together, and not just 5 hours for the wedding and the reception, and then it's over. So it was really cool. We had 42
Yeah.
guests come out for our wedding. Unfortunately, my parents missed their flight and didn't make it, which is a whole nother story.
We'll talk about that the
Yeah.
next time you guys are on. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, that's for another time.
Yeah, I just think I brought that up because we loved hearing about that because this podcast is all about doing things a little bit differently, and you guys did it differently, but you did it that it was really cool and it was cheaper, and I thought that was super cool because I think you picture weddings as being this $40,000 thing, and it ended up being a lot cheaper, but you guys had a lot more fun too. So
Yeah, and at one of the venues we were actually at, I think it was like our last one of the day, we told her that we were considering a destination wedding, like just throwing it out there. And she was like, that'll actually probably cost you way more than a wedding here. And I was like, I forgot her name, but I'd like to prove you wrong now.
you're like, yeah, see me try.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's really cool. So you guys just about 6-7 months ago now. Wait, how long? Beginning of January, I think you moved down.
End of January.
End of January. Okay,
Yeah.
you moved down here to Charlotte, pretty close to where we live now. So if you just want to talk a little bit about that, I think mainly what made you decide to move and then how that has been going. We know that moving for me and Miranda was one of the best things we ever did. And we're just, that was one of the main reasons we brought you guys on because we know you moved and because, moving is one thing, but moving out of state to a brand new place without jobs ready to go is a very daring thing to do, and we respect you guys for that, and we just want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we both grew up in Maryland, lived there almost our whole lives, and we love to travel and see new places, and we felt like we needed to experience some other places before we picked a place and settled down, decided to have kids and stuff. So it was probably a year and a half ago we started looking at different cities around the country that we would like to potentially move to. And it's funny, when we came to visit you guys last October, we were supposed to go down to South Florida to scope out places to live. And that's when that big hurricane was coming.
Yeah.
So we got rerouted and we decided to take a road trip down to Charlotte to visit. And we immediately fell in love with it. And we were like, let's do it. We're just going to go for it. So we decided that we were going to pursue that. We didn't have a job lined up, like you said, or a place to stay.
Yeah.
Hey, those are just details,
Yeah,
though. Who
small
cares
details.
about that?
But if you really want to do it, you'll make it work. But obviously trying to get all of the timing of everything to work perfectly is nearly impossible. So we just took a leap of faith. We felt like there was more out there than we were doing in Maryland. We felt kind of stagnant, that we needed to progress with our life and our career and find something new. So we decided to take the leap, and Megan will pick up from here.
Yeah, so just going off of Chris, like I truly felt that we took the time, you know, to pray and like ask God if this was what he wanted us to do, because if we just did it on our own understanding, I feel like it could have gone horribly wrong. We probably would be back in Maryland by now.
Which some people actually thought we'd be back already.
Yeah, for sure. But
Miranda still gets that from her family, and she's been gone 2 years from Pennsylvania. Come on, guys, give her a break.
Right.
Yeah, so just trusting in God and doing what he would want us to do, I think has helped. And even though we've had those trials, I feel like it's brought us closer and stronger together, like through each other and through our, you know, faith in Christ.
Definitely.
And it's good to be away from family and friends too, because it helps to just like, if we have a misunderstanding between each other, we don't have family in our ear or friends in our ear. We have to talk it out, and we have to go to bed together and things like that. So that's how I feel.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something huge about taking that leap of faith. So that's just cool that you guys decided to do that. I think, I believe a lot of people get to that point and then they just decide not to risk it. And, you know, that's something we're going to be talking about more and more on this show, but just the value of risking it and going for it. Even when you think you might fail, just taking a big step, because why not? I mean,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And for me, actually, I knew if I stayed where I was when I got older, I would have regretted it. Been like, I should have moved when I had the chance, and I would look back and been like, oh man, I really wish I had done it. So I'd rather try it, and even if it didn't work out, be happy with that decision than to stay put and regret not trying it. So
yeah, exactly. And I feel like when you're trusting in God and doing this leap of faith, like you can't fail. Like there's no way you can fail, because this is God's plan, you know? That's just how I feel.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like for us too, the move definitely, we grew in so many different ways. We would have never grown if we were in Pennsylvania. We grew so much more just from moving and just that whole process. And
Definitely.
I remember we were thrilled when we got the text that you guys were moving to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Jordan told me, I was like, yeah!
we were hoping that you guys were going to pick that because you guys liked it so much, but you never really know. And obviously, I know you guys weren't picking it because of us, but we were like, yeah, they came down because they liked, you know, they missed us. That's why they're coming down. So we were very happy that you guys came down. And we actually only live like 20 minutes, 40 minutes with traffic away now. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, so thank you guys for sharing that. I think that was just something that it means a lot to us just to hear that story from you guys, just because that is moving and changing is something that's really close to our hearts and something that we think about a lot because it has been so good for us. You know, some of the biggest changes in our life have come from the moving, and it's just been really exciting. But Chris, we also want to talk to you about your job. So if you could tell us a little bit about Camp Gladiator. I know it's something that some of my fans and some of my listeners will know already because it's something that I write about at times, but it is a boot camp fitness that me and Miranda both do and love. But Chris, if you want to take over and just give yourself a little shout out and just maybe tell us how it got started and then tell us about where people can go to find some more information about it.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little background on myself. I knew I wanted to be a trainer when I was in high school. I played a lot of sports and started doing a lot of training with the trainer, and I loved him, and I looked up to him, and I was like, I would love to do what he does at some point. So I pursued that through school, and after school, I became a certified personal trainer and was training at a gym for the past 6 years or so. I had a very good book of clientele, and I just knew there had to be more. I loved the job, but it was not all that I expected, and I knew there was something else out there that would be what I was looking for. So moving down here, I was looking for something different than the typical gym, but still in the fitness field, which is a hard line to walk because there's not a whole lot to do with it. So when the opportunity of Camp Gladiator came up, and I kind of heard what they were all about and the opportunities, I jumped on it immediately because it looked like everything I was really looking for. So Camp Gladiator.
How did you find out about it? Because I had never heard about it before at all. I think, you know, we heard about it first from you. So how did you find out?
So actually what's cool is when we were thinking about moving to different cities, I would look up jobs online to see what the potential was for work in each of those areas. And every city I looked at happened to be the cities that Camp Gladiator were in. So the Camp Gladiator ads would pop up online, like Indeed.com and stuff. And I was like, this is interesting. So I kind of was familiar with the company, but I hadn't pursued it any further. And when we moved to Charlotte, I had posted my resume online, and someone from Camp Gladiator reached out to me and said, I saw your resume and thought this might be something that you're interested in. So I took them up on that, and they were certainly right.
So, Chris, how did you actually get your start with Camp Gladiator?
So after I talked to the initial person, Taylor, she sent me to an info session to get some more in-depth detail about the company and their mission and what they look to do. And
what is that? Just in a couple words.
So the mission is to positively impact the physical fitness and ultimately the lives of as many people as possible. So with Camp Gladiator, how the company is structured, you can reach the masses by having boot camps up to 50, 100 people all in one, as opposed to doing private one-on-one training, which takes up a lot more time and fewer people. So I love that concept. You kind of have your set schedule of camps that you run each week, and all the trainers in the area work together as a team to help each other and to help all of the campers out and impact their lives all together. So it's a great team aspect. Anywhere else you go in fitness, it's more like you're competing with the other trainers, where in Camp Gladiator, you're all on the same team and working together. So that was a cool concept that you are not going to find anywhere else. Another big thing for me was I get the chance to travel a little bit with this job, go to other markets around the United States to help promote and grow those camps and impact lives that way. So
it's cool because you're not just stuck in one gym in one place.
Correct.
You kind of go all around. I think all around Charlotte, you do different events and stuff too, right?
We get to do tons of events all around Charlotte. I've seen places and venues and stuff I would never see if I wasn't a part of this company. And I get to do workout parties in different stores and different breweries and things. So it's very interesting and very dynamic, as opposed to just working in the gym 50, 60 hours a week. So it's been a lot of fun so far. And I love it, and I'm excited to continue to grow and improve as a trainer. And you should come out and work out with me. I'm down in Myers Park in South Park, so come check me out.
Yeah, and Chris actually got Jordan and I into Camp Gladiator, and we've been doing it for about 4 months now. And it has just been a really awesome experience. We love that they're all outdoor. It's group fitness. It's different every time. It really is just an awesome thing to be a part of. And for what you get for having a kind of basically a personal trainer, it's a great deal.
Absolutely. What I tell people is they get unlimited access to training with me for the whole month for the price that people used to pay me for an hour. To put into context how valuable it is, that's a little way to really show how much value you get out of the Camp Gladiator.
Yeah, it is so cool because I feel like, we have a personal trainer right there, and our personal trainer is Sierra Delgado. That's her last name, right?
Yep.
Sierra Delgado. Just a shout out for her. She's awesome. But it's just cool because I can go up to her at the end of a workout and say, hey, Sierra, my knee is bothering me real quick. What can I do? And she can give me just like a 3 or 4 minute spiel of maybe something I can do, like either just ice it or wrap it up or what might be going on. I don't need a full hour training session. I don't need to pay a personal trainer to tell me about my knee, but having someone there that just I can ask a quick question to is really valuable. And I think that's one of the most valuable things about it. The workouts are different and, the whole camp is fun, but just having a personal trainer right there, you can ask questions at really no cost at all. We pay around $100 a month total for the camp. And that's we consider really cheap when we go 3 or 4 times a week. Mostly 3, sometimes 2. I'll be honest here. I felt bad about saying 3 or 4. We've gone 4 like twice, but Chris, if someone listening to this, what are the major cities CG is in, and how would they go about signing up for it or trying it out?
Yeah, so the major cities, there's 13 major cities around the country, and when you sign up for CG, you get access to all of them. Whether if you're traveling around, you can hop in on a workout in any city you're in that we're in. So we're in Charlotte, Raleigh, Orlando, Tampa, Shreveport, which is in Louisiana. Didn't know that before. Also Houston, DFW, Austin, and then Denver, Colorado. And there's some other cities in Texas as well. So yeah, you have full access to all 3,000 locations that CG offers.
Okay, awesome. We're going to switch gears slightly. I have another question for you guys, and this is for both you and Megan, Chris. How important is fitness in overall happiness? And maybe just relate that just for you guys and in your relationship. How important is it to, to stay fit and to be able to do fun things?
So I know when I'm working out, I feel better personally about myself, and like my self-confidence is higher, and I would say that's true for a lot of people. And I think that reflects in your relationship. When you're feeling good and you feel good about yourself, you're going to be nicer to be around and treat your spouse better. And then when you work out
Megan's
together,
sitting over there laughing.
You work out more.
You said I need to work out more?
I had to call her out.
Wait, you do, I do.
No, you do.
That got me off track.
No, but no,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, being an athlete my whole life and kind of after that college, not really working out and then meeting him and him being a personal trainer, he's really pushed me, to like work out again. And through working out, I can see I'm like, ugh, I really don't want to go. I don't want to do this. Like I'm talking
Yep.
myself out of it all day, but like I find myself there at night. And then afterwards it's like, oh, I'm so much more happier. Like, I love it. And I used to kind of hate working out with the person you're dating or like seeing your husband work out. But I think it's another level of kind of intimacy because they kind of see you at your dirtiest, grittiest, red faced, but it's but you still feel good looking at them being like, oh my God, we got this. We can do this. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to love working out again. But
And it's even more so when you're working out side by side.
Yeah.
Working hard together, I think it's a good bonding experience as well.
Yeah, and Jordan and I, we definitely get very competitive when we're at the Camp Gladiator workouts, and we'll definitely try to push each other just to that next level while we're working out because neither one of us wants to lose.
And Miranda does. I'll admit it. She usually beats me on things. So whenever I can beat her at a running competition or something, I feel a little bit good about myself.
You can rub it in later.
Yeah.
We have two more questions for you guys. Second to last, what makes you different from other people? What would you say for each of you? What's just one thing about you that's just different than normal? Oh, I stumped him.
Stumped.
I stumped.
Huh.
Is this a adjective quality?
It can be one word if you want, but just something that hey this kind of defines me, and that maybe not defines, but this just separates me from other people.
I don't know about you, but
Yeah, speak on yourself.
I don't want to say I don't know
Go ahead.
For me, I think it's my compassion towards people. No matter what they've done or their past, I always try to see them in a positive light, even if I know that they've done negative to me or someone that I love or know. It's hard for me to be mad at someone or to look down upon or to just be kind of vengeful if they've been vengeful to me. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree with that. I think Megan, whenever we're telling you about something, you're very, very, very good listener. I think that has to do with that. We always feel like so you too, Chris, if we're telling you guys things, you're both there and nodding and you're listening. And I think a lot of people lack that quality, not to offend anyone, but I just think a lot of people don't have that as good as you guys do. And I think that's pretty cool. So that's definitely a good way to describe yourself. So you got it.
Yeah, I love listening to people, actually.
It's out of your comfort zone to actually be the one talking, right?
I know, this is so out of my comfort zone.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
I'd say one of my biggest qualities that might set me apart is I'm very patient, even in struggles. I'm patient. I don't get flustered too easily. When I do, I'm kicking myself, what is wrong with me? Why am I getting flustered? I'm normally very even, level-headed, pretty 24/7. I'm pretty level-headed. So that actually comes in handy when I'm working with people who aren't quite doing what you want them to do. You just use that patience and kind of teach them and coach them on what you're looking for. So that helps a lot with work in particular. So
No, that helps me a lot too, because I get really bad anxiety or I get overwhelmed easily, but you don't react to it. You kind of just you just give me a hug and I'm like, I'm a lot better now. Like,
Oh,
for real, like, it
good.
actually, his hugs actually help me when I'm, like, go in my depressed mood or things like that. So, I'd have to agree.
All right, guys. So for our listeners, what advice would you give them to anyone out there just that's feeling stuck, that's feeling like maybe they want to move, or maybe they want to get a new job, or maybe they want to make a switch? What is one piece of advice you would give them to just encourage them and lift them up?
My big thing would be don't be complacent. It's easy to get into a routine where you know what you're doing. It's easy. You could do it with your eyes closed, but to get out of your comfort zone and try something new and try something that you're uncomfortable with or that you're not sure how you'll perform. And that really kind of makes things interesting when you're outside of your comfort zone and you're striving to be better in a certain area or try something new. I think that goes a long way in keeping like the spice of life going, really.
No, I agree. I think, like, your goals are not in your comfort zone. Because if they are, then it's like, you're really not dreaming, like,
Right.
big enough.
Challenge
Like, you
yourself.
really don't want to go far or have, like, those experiences that most people want.
Yep, and I'll say in the past, I guess 5 months since I started CG, I've been out of my comfort zone way more than I was in the past 5 years, probably. And I just own it and go for it and fake it till you make it, really. Just act like you have all the confidence.
Yep.
And it shows, and people, I mean, yeah, you grow from it and learn, and then you get more comfortable in those situations and continue to progress. So,
All right, cool. Unless Miranda looked like she was popping toward the mic. Do you have anything else?
No, I was just bobbing back and forth.
She's just enjoying this.
Yeah.
Well, Chris and Megan, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We really appreciate you guys bearing with us and answering some of these questions.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we roped them into this podcast while they were visiting us just to play some games. So we're going to go play some code names and some Dominion, and we'll catch you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our podcast episode with Chris and Megan Johnson. We had a great time recording it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to that. And thanks again to Chris and Megan for being willing to come over and be on our show. Guys, if you would please leave our podcast a review, you can go to my site, jmring.com/podcast, and that will direct you to leave a review on whatever platform you are listening to this on. If you're listening to it on my site, if you could go over to iTunes, that would be awesome. You can find that by following that link and clicking on the little iTunes picture. So just follow that link, go to iTunes, leave a quick review, hopefully 5 stars if you liked it. If you want to give us 4 stars, I guess that's okay too. But we would really appreciate 5 stars and a little review. That way, this podcast will be able to reach more people, and we'll be able to keep making these interesting episodes for you guys. So if you could do that for us, that would be awesome. We would appreciate it.
So we hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will be back next week. Stay weird.
Stay weird, friends.